Where are the Rohingya from? The ancestry of Rohingya has long been a topic of confusion among diaspora, as well Rohingya within themselves, especially among the new generations. In order to break down Rohingya's ancestry, let's look into today's topic. The most commonly heard myth tells of a ship of Arab traders that arrived at the shores of Ramri Island in the 18th century and wrecked off the Burmese coast, and the survivors asked for ram of the local king. The king allotted a piece of land for them and they were allowed to settle there. Over time, Ram changed to Rohang and eventually to Rohingya. The first sign of the Muslim settlement was found in 788 to 810 CE. Documentary evidence shows that the early Arab had contact with Arkan and Bengal. During the colonial period, Muslims in Arkan were referred to in many different ways: Muslims, Mohammedan, Chittagonians, Rohingya, Rosawan, and many more. In 1799, Francis Buchanan, a Scottish surgeon with the British East India Company, traveled to Burma and met members of a Muslim ethnic group who have long settled in Arkan and called themselves Rohingya. Muslim leaders in Rakhine State have promoted the use of the term Rohingya to describe themselves as part of their assertion of rights along ethnic lines. The first formal acknowledgement of the ethnonym Rohingya dates to 10 March 1950 in an official address by a group of elders from North Arkan to Prime Minister Unu on his visit to Mangda. Michael W. Charney states that the derivation of Rohingya from Rohingya is very clear. Rohingya can be traced to the 17th century to Rasanga. Although the language of Rohingya was widespread during the era of Arkan kings, today its existence as a written language has diminished, as it was mainly destroyed by the Burman invaders in 1784 and was not preserved well by subsequent colonialists. Arkan was an independent state until it was invaded by Burman king Bodapaya in 1784 and annexed to the Burman kingdom. It is believed that the Muslims first reached Arkan in the 8th century and through a gradual process of expansion in the 15th and 16th centuries, a distinct Arkanese Muslim community was formed. Some believe that they are descendants of Moorish, Arab, and Persian traders who had arrived and settled in Arkan between the 9th and 15th centuries. Migrants arriving from Persia, Turkey, northern India, and the Arabian Peninsula were later added to these settlers that create a distinct dialect which is a mix of Persian, Urdu, Arkanese, and Bengali. During the 12th and 13th centuries, larger groups arrived in Arkan and rapidly integrated as well. The second wave of Muslim immigration into Arkan began in the 15th century and lasted until 1784, when the Burmese king Bodapaya conquered Arkan. In the 17th century, Arkan reached its peak of glory through the contribution of Muslim poets, Muslim learned men, saints, and administrators. Meanwhile, historical scholars and natives claim that the population is indigenous to the Arkan state since the 19th century when the nation was under British occupancy. But though Rohingya had lived in Arkan for centuries, and though Britain promised the Rohingya an autonomous state in exchange for their help in World War II, it never followed through. After the end of the war, Burma gained its independence from Britain in 1948. The government didn't provide for a Muslim state either, nor did it acknowledge the Rohingya. Instead, Burma worked to cast out the Rohingya people, excluding them from its constitution. In 1982, Burma passed a citizenship law that denied the Rohingya people citizenship too. Until today, Rohingya are in continuous limbo and their tales of woes, persecutions, and genocide echoes around the world.